Hello, hello. We are continuing again about toxic relationships, toxic situations. This is my past video. I did mention we are going to start looking at ourselves. We have to start looking first at ourselves so we could understand what has brought us into these toxic situations, toxic relationships, whatever situations we find ourselves in. You know, first of all, what I want to say is I don't care how intelligent you are. I don't care how intuitive you are. I don't care whatever. It can happen to anyone. And basically, it's when you're looking back. 90% of the time, it's childhood issues. Something either tragic happened. There was a sense of abandonment. It could have been some kind of family problems, sexual abuse, things that we repressed, things that could have brought us into destructive modes. And we could be carrying this subconsciously, being in denial, and we don't even realize it. And that will draw us to toxic situations or toxic relationships. And it can get the best of us. Now, if it's just a random act and you were just susceptible to one person or just one bad person came in, well, that's a little bit different. But even then, what was it at that moment? Were you at a low point in your life? We're looking at insecurities. We're looking at so many issues that could have been arising. I'm not looking now to point fingers at anyone, but I'm looking at you, looking at yourself. Take a list. Start writing down things. Did you suppress anything? Are you a people pleaser? Do people mistake kindness for weakness? Are you codependent? Do you have severe insecurities? Do you always think that everybody else is better than you? You know, we all say, oh, no, you know, there's this ego. We all try, but sometimes that ego really is, actually, we're very insecure. Some of us too. We don't believe that we deserve better. But again, we're going back to see what is it that caused that? Why is it some of us have repetitive cycles? We go from one bad situation to another one, to toxic, to very abusive relationships also. I mean, severely bad, to the point that when we're talking about some relationship where you're being abused, and then you've got other people out there who maybe see it and say, oh, she or he is so stupid. How could they put up with this? And blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Unless you're part of it, unless it happens to you, it's sometimes very hard to understand. And it could be the most strong-willed person that can end up in relationships like this, because then it's going to take this psychological effect on you. And it's just going to bring you down. It's going to isolate you. It's going to, there's a whole pattern. There's so much we can talk about this. You know, we're going to go from step to step. But in this video, really, I'm trying to get you to see what is it that brought you into these cycles. Why is it that you're people pleasing, for example? Why is it that you're so insecure? Did something happened to you as a child? Was there a sense of abandonment? Even the smallest amount can affect a person. We're all individuals. We're all different. Were you sexually abused? That has been a big issue that could have driven people in really destructive paths. As a child, we need that emotional bonding with the mother, with the father, with whatever it is that you needed. What was lacking? Did that make a ripple effect? Were you not taught to, maybe you came from a family where positivity was not emphasized. So many things you need to consider, and you need to look at what is it? Why is it that you feel that you needed to or be drawn into this? And, you know, it can take a lot of work, because sometimes it's like it's very subconscious, and you just start blaming everyone and everything around you. But you gotta see why, especially if you're going from cycle to cycle. And then if you're staying with someone and you know this person's wrong for you, or you're just miserable and you just can't get out of it, is it becoming karmic? Is there a reason why you're staying? All for the wrong reasons. Yeah, we know sometimes it's financial and blah, blah, blah. But even then, you know, that's showing that there's some kind of low self-esteem. So what you need to really do, you really need to take a list and really, really try to sit down and go back. And even if you're suppressing something, sometimes you may know what it is, but then there could be so much that was suppressed. Sometimes it becomes like pieces of puzzles that you need to put together. So you need to sit down, you need to really look at what what is it that you believe, and dissect it. Then maybe ask questions, indirect questions to others, what they view, what they see. Are you a type of person who just kept everything in? Why were you brought to that point where you needed to suppress a lot in? So sit down, try to really analyze yourself, see what the root cause was. And then we can discuss also how each one of those causes and each one of those things, how they have led you to maybe a destructive path. And of course, we're going to build into this where we're going to see how to remove ourselves finally from it. This is a process. It's not easy, but you need to start looking at yourself. Where can you change things? And that's what we're going to talk in the next video, is when we start really realizing what the root causes of this toxic situation and relationships, or whatever you're in. And then we can start breaking it down, and we can start taking steps how to remove yourself, or how to eliminate it, and then start making borders. There's so many steps to go on. So we're going to discuss that in the next video. So take your time, sit down, and really see what's going on with yourself. Be honest with yourself, and then just what's nagging, what is it? Dissect yourself as much as you can. Put the hurt aside. Don't blame the other person, whatever it is, or the situation, but just start analyzing yourself. What is it? Where did it maybe start from? Or from what time period? You know, draw like a timeline. At this point I was like this, at this point I was like this. Take a few years, you know, that you remember from childhood. From there, maybe you should graph it, so that way you can maybe come back and say, you know. So graph it. Take like the first 5 years of your life that you remember. Try to remember everything there. I mean, this can take time. So just try to make a timeline and go forth all the way to where you are, and what were significant events in your life. Because sometimes it's embedded really subconsciously too. Some of us know what it is, but we're not sure how that really actually affected us. And then when you start doing this, you start putting this timeline together, and then some pieces of puzzles just start to form. So this does take a process though. But first step to any kind of recovery is taking that first baby step. And this is really trying to heal yourself, analyze yourself, and really get down to the nitty-gritty. So we will talk more about this next week on Double-Edged Sword. For now, go and analyze yourself, and have a great day. Over and out, guys.